Right now at 6, a benefit concert for Hurricane Ian victims is planned 1 year after the storm. But is this charity event the real deal? Wake News investigative reporter Celine MacArthur finds out.
A neighborhood mystery at the home of a missing man. The person now in custody.
Teachers say enough is enough.
You had everything for your bills and that was it.
Forced to leave the classroom.
There was barely enough to have any form of a social life or anything of self-care.
Over low pay. New at 6, a Lee County School Board member responds to the union's call for a pay raise.
And a beloved landmark ready for a comeback. The big step toward the return of the Times Square clock.
Covering Southwest Florida. The team that's first, fair, everywhere. This is Wink News at 6.
Right off the top at 6, Hurricane Lee rapidly intensifying tonight, now a Category 4 storm. Hello, I'm Lois Tomey.
I'm Chris Safati. We're just 3 days away from the peak of hurricane season, and man, are the tropics busy right now. Wake News Chief Meteorologist Matt Devitt leads us off tonight.
Yeah, look at that loop behind you now, a well-defined and symmetrical eye, certainly a sign of a powerful system. Now a Category 4, pressure has rapidly lowered to 953 millibars. It's pushing to the west-northwest at about 13, and this will very likely develop into a Category 5. That is the current forecast from the National Hurricane Center. There is 165 by tomorrow, and even something higher than that, not impossible. And notice how there is some fluctuations in the intensity, still powerful, but what can happen with these intense cells and these hurricanes is that they go through what's called eye wall replacement cycles. The eye collapses and then it redevelops, and that way you can get the fluctuation in strength. But the track and the overall thinking has not changed. You can see the gradual turn to the north according to computer models, and specifically the American and the European. They need to closely watch that from the mid-Atlantic, New England, and all the way into eastern Canada. Locally, we do have some pop-up areas of rain. Not much currently for Charlotte County. Let's take into Lee County, specifically neighborhood level around Wild Blue, Corkscrew Road, FGCU getting soaked as that's moving in with more showers and thunderstorms from Orange Tree, Golden Gate Estates, and extending towards Alligator Alley. Also tracking some new thunderstorms that have been popping up over Tamiami Trail. And some more of these hit or miss spotty showers possible for this evening. I'll show you that hour by hour coming up.
All right, Matt, thank you. Just days before we mark 1 year since Hurricane Ian, Christian music performers Mercy Me and Matthew West are set to perform at the Hertz Arena. The flyer posted on the Hertz Arena website says it's a benefit concert to support the victims of Hurricane Ian.
But how can you be sure the money goes to those who need it? Tonight, Wake News investigative reporter Celine MacArthur digs into the fine print of that promise to see where your money is really going.
I got this flyer from the promoter and host of the live concert event that's going to take place here at Hertz Arena. Joe Knopp, who describes himself as a filmmaker and entrepreneur, reached out to me several times, anxious to be on Wink News to talk about the event. Well, when I started digging, I found some red flags you need to know about before you buy tickets or donate money.
Mercy Me and Matthew West together in concert for the first time. A benefit supporting the victims of Hurricane Ian.
Nearly a year after the monster storm, people in Southwest Florida are still struggling to rebuild, so that support can do some good. So you may be wondering, Celine, where is that money going and how can I get some? I asked Knopp. 2 weeks passed with no answer. I read through the website, page by page, line by line, looking for clues. Under Who We Are, it says Disaster Relief Foundation is made up of organizations, churches, and individuals, but doesn't list which ones. I also discovered Disaster Relief Foundation is not a registered charity or nonprofit. Neither is Disaster Relief Benefit Foundation, the name used to headline its corresponding Facebook page. So what is this?
I think you're asking a lot of the right questions.
That's Kevin Scally from Charity Navigator, a nonprofit evaluator. I asked him to weigh in.
What we're looking for is really good transparency from the outright as to this is where your money's going and this is what your money's going to do.
Scally says disasterreliefbenefit.com lacks transparency.
Definitely doesn't present as very straightforward.
After 2 weeks of pressing for an interview, I got Knopp on Zoom to answer my questions. He told me a visit from his home state of Ohio to Fort Myers back in March inspired him to find a way to help.
And I hate to say, but a lot of us who are not living in Fort Myers, you kind of forget, the magnitude of the effect and devastation that's still there today. So I said, well, we should do something.
That's something?
A benefit supporting the victims of Hurricane Ian.
The September 21st Mercy Me and Matthew West Hurricane Ian benefit concert, sponsored by what's called Disaster Relief Benefit.
So tell me about Disaster Relief Benefit. What is that?
So that's, to be completely fair, Disaster Relief Benefit is an organization that we put together at that time. Just to have, it didn't make sense to have Joe Knopp Entertainment be putting this event on.
So Disaster Relief Benefit is an actual organization? Because I looked it up and I don't see a record of it.
It's, to be honest, I mean, I'm trying to, I have to talk to my my attorney who put together. It's not a 501c3 and it's not incorporated. So it's basically, I guess it's a trademark name that we're using for the website itself.
I asked him about the name on his event Facebook page.
Connect is called Disaster Relief Benefit Foundation. Is that a foundation?
No, there is not an existing 501c3 foundation for that. So you saw that on, you saw that on social media?
It's on your website?
Part of the issue here is that the social media team was looking for, names that were available.
Knopp says he's working in concert with the National Christian Foundation, which is a registered 501c3. But the fine print on the benefit concert website states NCF has full discretion and control of your donations. A red flag for Charity Navigator.
I will say that it does come off a little bit contradictory to say, hey, money's going to be used for this fund, but we also have the discretion on how we utilize it.
According to the Disaster Relief Benefit website, donations go to things like the purchase and delivery of desperately needed items such as generators, chainsaws, tarps, rakes, shovels, batteries, food, first aid supplies, basic sanitary needs, and cleanup supplies.
That sounds like something that was needed a year ago.
My guess is my social media team took kind of boilerplate information from their sites and added it to ours. Our goal is to give funds to the existing nonprofits that were supporting Fort Myers. We do not plan to have a direct say in how they spend those proceeds, if that makes sense to you.
Knopp couldn't provide us a list of those nonprofits during our interview. So I asked him how the people of Southwest Florida can be sure the money raised stays in the community to help people devastated by Ian.
That's let me think that through. I think we are working directly with the regional folks of Southwest Florida as part of National Christian Foundation.
Premier Productions, the company staging the concert, claims 100% of net proceeds will go to disaster relief benefit. On the sponsor page of Knopp's website, Joe says payments can be mailed to his personal business address or Bank of America account. Here's what Knopp said when I asked him to explain.
Sponsor money and the ticket sales go to my for-profit, production company, because we had to work with a for-profit company and did not have time to, start a new one specifically for the event.
Based on the information provided, Scally says donors need to beware.
Yeah, when you have different causes, or in this case, when you have a crisis, is that it really pulls at people's heartstrings and they want to take that action and they want to make the change in the world to make it better. But unfortunately, while it brings out the best in people, it can also bring out the worst in people, where you have bad actors that emerge and unfortunately take advantage of people.
After our interview, Knopp sent me a list of 7 organizations that may or may not be getting money from this concert. Knopp would not provide any more details. I did discover that one of these organizations is not a beneficiary of this concert. I also reached out to the National Christian Foundation several times. No response. I reached out to Hertz Arena and the performers, and so far have not received any responses. But I will continue to investigate, and I'll share with you everything I uncover. I'm investigative reporter Celine MacArthur, Wink News.
All right, Celine, thank you. Let's get to some breaking news right now. Deputies spent hours today scouring the home of a missing man. We received multiple calls and emails from Wink News viewers this morning about this. So we sent Wink News reporter Jolena Espirito to the River Hall community just south of Olca. She's live for us tonight. Jolena, what's happened there in the last hour?
Well, first I saw detectives bring out large boxes from the home and load them into the crime scene unit. Then I saw them bring back plywood and other personal belongings, put them back into the garage. Now, apparently they removed those personal belongings earlier, but I don't know that for sure because there was a black curtain up on this side of the driveway. Now, a lot is cleared out now. They took down the black curtain. There's still caution tape surrounding the home, and they won't let anyone near the home. People in this neighborhood near Alva say deputies have been here on and off the last couple of weeks, sometimes for days at a time. All the sheriff's office will say is that a man is missing, but will not identify him. Neighbors told me they didn't really notice him missing, just thought he was on vacation. But they say his parents asked LCSO to do a wellness check all the way back in June. The people who knew the missing man told me he is a quiet and nice neighbor to have. He rode his yellow bike every morning in all black and went to the gym and the pool. Now, interestingly enough, I found a report that says deputies arrested the missing man's son, 31-year-old Jake Hemmer, on a fugitive warrant. Now, he remains in custody, but neighbors here are wondering where his dad may be right now. Live in Lee County, Jolena Espirito, Wink News.
All right, thank you, Jolena. The woman accused of driving drunk and killing a deputy now has a trial date. Prosecutors say Cassandra Smith crossed several lanes of Interstate 75 and crashed into the deputy and his car in November. Deputy Christopher Taylor was on the side of the road for a traffic stop at the time. Deputy Taylor was just 23 years old when he died. Smith's trial is scheduled to begin December 12th.
Tonight, a man is out of jail on bond accused of causing the deaths of 3 dogs. Lee County Animal Cruelty Task Force deputies arrested 25-year-old Jesse Myers on Monday. Deputies first discovered 1 dog still alive in a shed on Tolles Drive in North Fort Myers. The temperature that day in June was 94 degrees. They then found 3 dead dogs wrapped in towels, buried in shallow graves. All died from heat stroke. Wink News spoke to the suspect's father late this afternoon.
For a fact that it's wrong. It's not right what everybody's doing to him. My son is a way better person than what people are stating he is. And those dogs meant everything to him and his family, including myself, because one of those dogs were mine.
The sheriff's office says Jesse Myers left the dogs unattended for 20 hours at a time. He now faces 3 counts of aggravated animal cruelty.
A Lehigh Acres man will spend 18 years in prison for having drugs and guns at his home. Last summer, the Lee County Sheriff's Office found 7 grams of fentanyl, 500 grams of cocaine, and half a dozen guns. The DOJ called Louis Pasquazzi a career criminal. He pleaded guilty to the charges in April.
More rescues coming from manatees stranded after Hurricane Idalia. Wink News had live coverage yesterday of FWC crews pulling 5 manatees out of a canal in Whiskey Creek in South Fort Myers. FWC told us today this was the largest group stranded. We confirmed today that a mom and her calf are stuck behind a spillway in Cape Coral. Manatees are also trapped in ponds in St. Pete and Largo. Rescues like this are scheduled over the next week.
Naples Community Hospital is no more. The hospital group is rebranding, starting with a new name. NCH now stands for Naples Comprehensive Health. NCH says this reflects the organization's world-class healthcare. The rebrand comes with a new logo, too. You'll start to see this new font with purple text replace the current logo across NCH's facilities.
Next on Wink News at 6, teachers play a critical role preparing our kids for their futures, and they say they don't get paid enough for it. Is Lee County headed toward a showdown on salary?
And a centerpiece of Fort Myers Beach is coming back after Hurricane Ian, the new step toward the return of the Times Square clock.
Lee County teachers say they don't get paid enough, and new at 6 tonight, a school board member agrees.
We first shared teacher complaints with you last night at 6. The teachers union says the district is down 200 teachers, forcing those in the classroom to do even more. And after Wink News reporter Claire Galt's story yesterday, she heard from more teachers, even a middle school dean, about what's really happening in school.
Oak Hammock Elementary School, like most schools in Lee County, needs more teachers.
We are losing teachers left and right, whether it's out of education fully or it is to other districts, one on either side. We are losing them to both Collier and Charlotte County.
That voice belongs to the dean of Oak Hammock, Jennifer Burrows. She called me Thursday afternoon after seeing my stories on Wink News. She heard former teachers like Tamron Taylor explain why they left the district. Top of the list, pay.
It wasn't livable to where being on your own as a single adult was sustainable.
Burrows told me it's not just a problem, it's a crisis.
Students don't have teachers. Teachers are working through their planning period. During their planning period, they have to cover another class. I had teachers out this week. They're like, we're done, and then class sizes are getting larger.
Burrows said the people at Oak Hammock are trying, and the school can't afford to lose any more teachers. The district must step up and pay them more.
This should be their priority.
School board member Melissa Giovanelli told me Burrows is right.
We have to do better because the money should be in the classroom. We should have incentive pay to stay in the classroom. You want them to stay there. You want them to be happy and then in order to do that, they need to be paid adequately, treated professionally, respectfully. And we've kind of missed that.
Giovanelli hopes Lee County schools will fix this soon. The district and the teachers union are talking. Burrows hopes they talk fast. Teachers have choices. Students do not. Claire Galt, Wink News.
The teachers union is convinced Lee County Schools will not fill all of its teacher vacancies. They want the district to take the money it's saving on those salaries and give it to the teachers still on the job. Now, we investigated and we found that the starting salary for teachers in Lee County is $48,200. Collier County starts its teachers at $50,000. Charlotte's starting pay is $54,000.
Contract negotiations will now begin for a new Cape Coral City manager. The council decided it wants to keep interim city manager Michael Ilchizin in the role. He's led the city since council fired city manager Bob Hernandez in February.
Well, here is the very latest on Hurricane Lee. Earlier this morning, it was an 80-mile-per-hour Category 1. Over the past 12 hours, it has gained 50 miles an hour in intensity as we have a very potent storm and a well-defined eye. Look at how symmetrical it is, and that has to do with the combination of low shear, very warm waters. And to help us out with how strong it is, it's going to be a long night for the hurricane hunters flying in and out of the storm. Max winds right now at 130 miles an hour. The pressure is down to 953 millibars. Friendly reminder, the lower the pressure, the stronger the storm, as it is right now over very warm waters, about 1 to 2 degrees above average, which may not seem significant, but for a tropical system, that is additional power. The wind field in yellow is about 225 miles wide in diameter. That will be doubling over the next 5 to 7 days, especially around the turn as we hit next week. And look at that, 500 miles wide in diameter. Now, before that turn occurs, this is expected to develop into a Category 5 hurricane. Officially, the National Hurricane Center has a 165 Category 5, but I have some models that are even showing, while it's thankfully over the open water, going even stronger than that. So there's the official forecast for a 165 Category 5. And thank goodness for our friends in the Caribbean, Puerto Rico, the worst part of the storm is going to stay to the north. Now, the million-dollar question everybody wants to know down the road, where is this going to be going? So the American model and the European model, they have various possibilities. We call these the ensemble members. The European model has 51 of them, shaded in white. The American model has 31. And when you combine both of these, all 82, and this has been a consistent trend, keep it away from the state of Florida, about 600 miles to our east. Now, for our friends up the coast, they are not in the clear. They got to watch this, especially from the northeast, including New England, and even our friends in eastern Canada. Now, as it does stay to our east, you can still see it's going to be kicking up some big waves along the Florida east coast, the core of it, 50 to 100 feet. And ironically, as the worst part of it stays to our east, it could actually wrap around some drier air, and that may temporarily lower our chances for rain. We have Lee on the left with brand new tropical storm Margot on the right. This one as well expected to become a hurricane, but it's what we call a fish storm, as it will be staying in the open Atlantic. The very latest on Wink Live Doppler 3X, we do have areas of rain that have been popping up, mainly into Lee County. You can see this flare up even in the northwestern corner of Hendry County. Pretty good downpour for Alico Road, FGCU, Hertz Arena. Showers and thunderstorms I've been watching for Immokalee Road, the Heritage Bay community, extending all the way towards Golden Gate Estates. Naples Heritage seeing these showers and storms gradually push west along 951 with more pop-up areas of rain for Tamiami Trail. Temperatures right now upper 80s, lower 90s. Beautiful shot around Marco Island, as we will see in the short term the spotty areas of isolated rain all the way towards midnight and even a few into the mix for tomorrow morning. Partly cloudy, temperatures averaging in the mid-70s as we go throughout your finally Friday. Notice around lunchtime a few pockets of rain bubbling up as we hit 3 o'clock. Here's the status of our future track model. Very hit or miss with our chances for rain, but notice how both before and after sunset there will be the chance for scattered showers and thunderstorms to pass by. Here's your 7 and 10 day forecast. We're at 93 degrees for the weekend. Chance of rain just for a portion of it, not the entire thing. We're at 94 degrees, hot stretch looking ahead to next week with those occasional chances for rain.
All right, thank you, Matt. Next, the big step toward the return of the Times Square clock to Fort Myers Beach. Another major step toward recovery, the concrete base for the new Fort Myers Beach Times Square clock is now in place. The town laid the base this morning. Only Wink News took you to Ohio this summer to show you the replacement clock's construction. The town says stay tuned for an unveiling date.
It'll be nice to have that clock back up there. We do not need a thermometer. We just know it's hot.
Yes, yeah.
It's going to be hot today, tomorrow. Here's a look at the 7 and 10 day forecast. And, you know, eventually we'll get with the program that we're approaching fall, but we got to wait a little bit. 92 degrees for tomorrow, scattered showers and thunderstorms, a few possible in the morning, then hit or miss during the afternoon and evening. Not a washout of a weekend, but a chance of rain for a portion of it. And guys, there's that hot weather with 90s for the next 10 days.
It's just everywhere.
Yeah.
CBS Evening News with Nora O'Donnell next on Wink TV.